Hi everyone, welcome back to Wednesdays and Thursdays Spiral Review. Let's go ahead and get started. Jada has 7/8 cups of cheese. Her cheese bread recipe calls for 1/6 cups of cheese. How many times can she make her recipe with the cheese she has? So this is a classic fraction problem because it says how many times can she make her recipe with the cheese? So how many times does that go in? Does that portion go in 7/8? So I know that's division because I want to figure out and separate to come up with my portions. So I wrote out 7/8 divided by 1/6, and you guessed it, I'm using the standard algorithm, keep, flip, switch, and you should have come up with, just like I did, 5 wholes and 2 eighths. So how many whole times can she make this recipe? If you're going to write it back on the word problem in word problem form, since it's a word problem, I would respond that way. She can make 5 whole recipes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and skip this one. I'm going to give you a break on that one. Finding the sum, you can do that. Just line up the decimal. Adding is always good. Greatest common factor of 56 and 21. Whenever I find my common factors for these two, it's going to be 8 is the greatest common one. Okay. Find the missing number of each unit rate. I love doing these because it's simplifying them to just number 1. So I feel really confident because I just need to find one piece and it solves everything. So I really enjoy these. I don't know why, maybe that's weird. So 8 goes into 32 4 times and 7 goes into 21 3 times. It's almost starting to be mental math, finding unit rates for you. I hope it gets easier. I hope you think it gets easier. And we're gonna skip. Oh, we're not gonna skip strawberries, sorry. We're gonna skip the one after strawberries. If 2 pounds of strawberries are $4.50, how much would 3 pounds cost? Well, you can probably do this mental math, but I went ahead and set this up. It gave us 2 pounds for $4.50, and it wants how much 3 pounds are gonna cost. Before we get to 3 pounds, we need to figure out how much 1 pound costs us. So I literally just cut it down the middle. So half of 4 is 2, half of 50 cents is 25 cents. I also wanted to double check my work, and I did it right here. So 2 goes into 4.50, $2.25, or 2 whole times and 25. So once we had that, I just added another $2.25 to this, which brought me to $6.75. Or you could absolutely multiply 3 by $2.25. You could do that as well. Absolutely. Okay. So your answer should read, it would cost $6.75. So I went ahead and skipped this one. How many grams are in 8 kilograms? 1,000 grams, and we want to figure out kilograms. So what we had right here, we know 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. We just multiplied by 8. So 1,000 times 8 brought me to 8,000 kilograms. All right, evaluate the expression. I'm going to make my screen smaller right here, so that way you can see. I will say this is probably the most challenging question, but I hope after we go through it, you won't think it's challenging, but you probably are like a little intimidated because there's an exponent. But I'm going to break it down a little bit slower right now. Right? So I set it up, I copied it exactly like I saw, and I went ahead and wrote my strategy, PEMDAS right here. So I have a parenthesis, 8 plus 1/5 is 8 1/5. I have an exponent, so 6 to the power of 3 brought me to 216, and this is why. It means to multiply 6 3 times. So 6 times 6 equals 36. I brought my 6 down, and 36 times 6 gives me 216. And there's my exponent, and then I copied everything else down. Next, I have multiplication. Remember, when a number is immediately next to a parenthesis, it means to multiply. You might not always see that symbol, but it absolutely always means to multiply. So in this case, 5 wholes times 8 and 1/5. Wait a minute. How do you multiply a fraction? Well, we've been multiplying fractions every day of our spiral review, right? Every single day. And multiplying fractions is super easy. Just go across. So I went ahead and put a 1 to make my 5 into a fraction, my 5 wholes. And I converted my mixed number into an improper fraction, making this 41 over 5. So 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 is 41 over 5. And then I multiplied across. 41 times 5 is 205, 5 times 1 is 5. And then finally I put 5. I divided 205 by 5. And that brought me to 41. Okay, so 41 plus 216 is 257. See, that was a little bit challenging. So since it was, I took a few boxes off on Thursdays. And I know, with some more practice, you'll absolutely feel more confident in exponents. Let me switch to this. It is setting up a fraction, a division fraction. Key flips change. So 4 times 5 is 20, 20 times 1 is 20, bringing my simplified answer to 1. All right, Sammy is conducting a science experiment where he has to mix 8 and 25 ounces of vinegar and 4 and 30 ounces of lemon juice. How many ounces will he mix all together? Well, all together is a key word for addition. So I set up my decimals here, lined them up, and solved like I normally would. So your answer should read, all together he mixed, all together is 12 and 55. Finding the quotient, I'm going to go ahead and skip that one. Luis purchased 24 purple plants and 8 pink plants. He wants to plant them in equal groups in his garden. What is the largest number of groups he can make? Well, 8 is the largest group because it's my greatest common factor. It's the one they have in common. That's the largest group between 24 and 8. 8 is the number they have in common. So that's the biggest group he can make where he has each of those values. Okay, we're going to skip this one. And we're going to complete this table. Tell me where you find a milkshake that's a quarter, by the way. Let me know if you know where any milkshakes or slushies that are only a quarter nowadays. I hope I hope it was the pattern was easily recognizable. If you know that one milkshake is a quarter. So 2 milkshakes is 50 cents. 3 milkshakes is 75 cents. 4 milkshakes is $1. How much would 5 milkshakes be? Good job. We're going to go ahead and skip this one, and jump all the way down to this one. Write an expression that equals 24. Include an exponent. So I want you to try to write an expression that's different from mine because we're all going to choose different answers. You can choose any numbers as long as it equals 24. So I will show you what I chose. I chose 5 to the power of 2. And I will show you how I solved it. So 5 2 times, 5 times 5 equals 25. So I showed you right here. Minus 1 is 24. Again, as long as it equals 24. As long as it equals 24, you could do whatever numbers you wanted. So I'm excited to see your different versions of exponents. All right, bye guys. See you later.